Hello, patrons. Sorry if you hear the fan. It's hot. So I'm going to talk a little louder so you don't hear it as much. This video, as you see titled, is house buying tips, okay? We've been in our home for about a year and a half. We moved in, we closed on January 26th and we moved January 27th. So about a year now. And that was last year, 2018, when we moved. So I thought it had been long enough, you know, to think about my experience, mine and my husband's experience with buying a home, and would do a video in case you are thinking about buying a home in the near future or down the road. I hope these tips will help you. Also, I'm going to give you the pros and cons of moving to a subdivision. A subdivision is what we moved to. Basically, a subdivision is where you have a few different models of homes, like different styles, but they're like all the same. Sorry, I hate these types of things. Like you may have, you probably live in a subdivision, don't know it, but you may like your neighbor across the street has a house that looks just like yours, or it's opposite or something. That's a subdivision where they build a bunch of houses at one time and then they sell them. So that's when we moved. The company we went with was Lennar. Lennar was very, very good for us and with us. When we went in, actually, let me back up. August of 2017, we went just to look at models because I think it's important to go look at a physical house to see what you like and what you don't like. Because you may think you want something, you see it, you don't, or something that's there and you realize you wanted it. So we went in to just look at models, you know, and we looked at all of them. And the model we have, it's the Chateau series, Montalou series, and it's the model is the Duke home. It's like after Camelot and stuff and all that. So we have the Duke model home. And I will actually link the house tour underneath this video. So anyway, we went in just to look at models, and right then and there we decided, okay, we want to buy. You know, so it was like, we had been thinking about buying a home. We didn't know we were going to do it that quick because we were initially supposed to go to Japan, but we decided to buy a house. So overall, it was an easy process, and it wasn't too stressful, only at the end because I didn't think we were going to close in time, and most times you don't, especially with dealing with construction. But it was a really good experience. So house buying tips. I'm going to give you tips, and this is for any house. This is whether you're moving to a house that's new construction, a house that is newly built, a house that's older. You know, these tips apply to anything, okay? Take your time. Now, we didn't, take your time when looking for a house. Like, and what I mean by that is to know what you want. So before we went in and bought it, you know, we knew what we wanted, you know, open floor plan and, you know, separate wings. And we knew we needed a space for an office, whether it was another bedroom or like a formal dining. We needed a space for an office. So we knew what we wanted, and we took our time and discussed that and everything. So even though we went in and got a house, like it seems like we just went in and bought a house, we did take our time before doing it because, you know, we would look at different houses on different, you know, websites and everything, and we took our time to realize what we wanted and what we did not want. So take your time when buying, because it's a big purchase. It's a huge purchase that is going to stay with you. You know, the usual mortgage is 30 years. The average person stays in the house from 7 to 9. So take your time. I didn't put this down here, but just remember credit. Have some decent credit, you know, and if you're looking to buy in a house and your credit is low, get your credit up. I would say get your credit up and sustain it for a good year. So when they look at your credit, they can see, okay, this person is paying credit cards or paying off student loans, whatever. Get your credit right before you go buy a house because they're going to deny you. But there are those people that will, sometimes there's companies that will work with you with bad credit and they'll give you like tips and stuff, but have some good credit. Never do your max budget. Know it, but lowball. You know, so say your max budget, well here you can get house pretty affordable. Say your max budget is $300,000, okay? Go in and tell, you know, your realtor, like, look, we don't want to spend more than $250,000. That way, if it's a little bit higher, you know, you don't want to do your max budget because something is like $375. You're like, what are we doing? So lowball it so you have some wiggle room, you know. Oh, except If it's a subdivision, okay, I'll talk about that in the pros and cons. Okay. Don't buy a house just because you can afford it. Think of how you're going to live in your house, cleaning and maintenance. And what I mean by that is that we looked at 5 different models, and all of the models we could afford. We're very fortunate. There was one model we saw has 5 bedrooms and 4 baths. And it was gorgeous. It was beautiful. I was thinking of what we could do with all the space, and then I thought about the maintenance of it. I didn't realize how big our house was until I had to actually clean it and then deep clean it. So I started thinking about, like, someone's got to clean this house, it's going to be me. Someone's going to keep up with it, it's going to be me. So I was like, oh, there's toilet paper for all these bathrooms. You know, like in electricity, and just what do we do with all this space? And so you may see a house you can afford it, but think about those little things, you know, bills and maintenance and keeping up with it. Are you going to want to do all that? So think about that. Don't open a line of credit when in escrow. So say you buy your house, it goes through, you're in escrow. Escrow is you're waiting for everything to close. You know, you're waiting for inspections and all that stuff to close. Don't open a line of credit. You do, it's gonna basically lose the house for you. So it's okay to, like, use your credit card for small purchases, but don't open a line. Like, don't go buy a car. Don't be stupid. Okay. If looking at a house that's furnished versus empty, look past the furniture, paint, curtains that can easily change. I watch house hunters, like, oh my God, I hate the blinds. That's the easy fix. Curtains the easy fix. Paint is the easy fix. Look past that and think about what you can do with that space. You know, that's the only thing that's deterring you, get the house. If that is the only thing that's wrong, get the house. Paint is cheap, okay? If buying an older home or just a house that's been lived in, ask about roofing, plumbing, foundation, electrical, all of that. There should be a house inspection, you know, but it's, you know, you need to ask, like, how old is the roof? If it's old, has it been replaced? You know, how is the plumbing and how's the foundation, all that. You need to know all that before you, because you don't want to move into a house and it falls apart. You want to ask these questions, okay? If a new build, ask about paint color names, light fixture brands, where doors were bought from, flooring. So this is what me and my husband did, okay? When we moved in, we asked, what is the brand and color of our flooring? Also the carpet. We have samples of the tile and the carpet. Also ceiling fans, like what brand of ceiling fan is this? What brand? We have backups of paint in our garage, of the walls and the baseboards. You want to know all that, so if you have to touch up paint, which we've had to do, you want to be able to know. So make sure you get that information. And if you're buying, you know, a new home, like what new build, they'll have all of that listed in the paperwork. You know, the mortgage information for your house, it'll be all listed. Do not budge on your must-haves. Our must-haves were open floor plan, separate wings. I didn't want, like, the kids' bedrooms, like, right by our bedroom. Like, I did not want that. And every model we looked at has separate wings. So that was something I was not going to budge on, and I got that. Let me see. And one thing I did budge on, because I really wanted a separate tub and shower, and that was the only thing I didn't get. And so that's the thing where, like, we do have a bathtub, but I'm like, we're not gonna pass up on a house because I didn't get that, you know. If we wanted to, our shower is big enough if I wanted to put a tub, you know, do some construction and put a tub and have a shower. But no, I think what we're eventually going to do, because I love the bathtub in the girls' bathroom, but it's one of those where it has, like, the wall that's attached to it, but it's kind of cheap. Which is normal for new builds. So eventually I want to do some work and put a clawfoot tub in there. Eventually. Probably not anytime soon, but eventually I want to do that. So that's the thing I love about owning a home. You can tear shit up. So that is, you know, my tips for buying a house. You know, I may have missed some or whatever. I don't know, but here we go. So I want to do subdivision pros, because I don't have experience with buying a house that's been lived in. You know, so I'm just going to give my pros in case you were thinking about moving to a subdivision. It's a new house. It is new. It's new. You know, like, I'm talking about, like, new builds, new construction. Like, if you're moving to a subdivision, you're buying for somebody else, this doesn't apply to you. But it's new. Everything is new. Paint, doors, windows, and everything will be up to code. that's a good thing. So everything is new, your appliances. Luckily, we caught a deal where we were able to get the appliances. Well, we got the fridge and the stove and the laundry. So everything is new. That's the great thing, because you're going to get that year warranty on all those appliances when you move in. So it's great. Various models to choose from that are all within the same area. So, if you're looking for a house that's already been lived in, you may have to drive from neighborhood to neighborhood. But with the subdivision, you have a few models to choose from, and you probably just walk like next door. Like when we looked at models, now they've been turned into homes that people live in, but they were model homes at first, and we just walked next door to each model. So you're going to have models to choose from. The realty company does everything for you, such as city inspections, plumbing, electrician, everything will be up to code. So the great thing about when you buy a new build, and say they're still building it, because when we bought our house, we hadn't even broke ground. Every step needs a city inspection before they move on. And so, everything's going to be up to code. You don't have to worry about hiring an electrician, hiring a plumber. They're going to do all of that for you. And that's the good part, okay? With Lennar, I don't know about any other realty company, we got maintenance/construction for a year. So if something messed up under that year, I just sent in an email to Lennar, and the person would come out. So for instance, the paint color, they use the wrong paint color in some of the spots when they came and touch up paint, and I had to have them come back out. Something happened with our garbage disposal, something very simple that's common. They came out and fixed it. And so that was a good thing for us, because they came out and fixed it, and they would tell us how they fixed it. So if we needed to work on it, we would know. And that's my close subdivision. I love that we live in a subdivision with new homes, because we got to choose. We got to choose the best model for us, and it was because we just walked next door, and so that's my subdivision pros. Subdivision cons. There are some cons, you can't choose what to put in your house. Say it's a new build, and say they're halfway done, you buy your house. You don't have the choice to choose the flooring and the paint and all that stuff. Well, we didn't get to choose paint either. But with us, we got lucky. Since we got our house before we broke ground, we got to choose the flooring and the backsplash for our kitchen. And so we also got to choose the flooring that's in the bathrooms and for the shower. So we got to choose that. We could have upgraded if we want. We did do an upgrade for the backsplash. So that was great. But, you don't get to choose your paint color. We can paint. You don't get to choose, your windows and all that stuff. So that's the thing you have to think about. And they do the basic stuff. And I mean basic in a good way. They're not going to go above and beyond and put the best in there. They're going to do things that are nice, but you may want something that's better. No landscape in our backyard. For us, anyway. We live in a drought. I live in a drought state, California. So it was just dirt back there, so we had to pay for landscaping. And so that's a con you're going to think about. Especially if you have dogs or kids that want to play in the backyard, you got to think about that too. You may want to rip everything out and get new things. I've seen people that buy new builds like this, and then they rip out the windows, they rip out the cabinets. Luckily, I don't want to rip out anything, just the tub. But our cabinets are the perfect color. I love our countertops. I love our flooring. If I were to redo the flooring, I would get darker grout. That's what I would have did. I like the paint color, as you can see behind me, because it matches everything. No matter what decor you get, it matches everything. I love the blinds. I love the doors. We're just satisfied, so I love it. You may hate the color scheme, what I just said. So you may walk in there oh my God, so you may have to paint. If I was going to paint walls in here, I'd hire a painter. I'm not going to do it. If you're moving in and houses are still being built, you're going to have to deal with construction. And that's what happened with us, because when we moved into this house, the house next door to us hadn't closed yet. And so they were still doing construction over there, and now all the houses down the street are done. So we had to deal with construction for another good 6 months. And eventually, the noise was just background noise, but you're going to have to deal with that, and then trucks on your street and people coming in and out. And so that's what you have to deal with. But that's about it, So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope I gave you guys some great tips. The house buying process, I'm telling you, when you get the house that you want, the stress is worth it. The stress is worth it. It is because, you know, moving into your home that is yours, on paper it is yours, is a really great feeling. And the good part about it is that you can do whatever you want to do to it. Like, I can put a second story on this house. Not that I would. If I wanted to, you know, I can add another bathroom if I wanted to. I can, you know, add on to the house if I wanted, and, you know, we can do whatever we want, and that's the great thing about it. Now, I would say this, buying a house is not for everybody. You know, I wouldn't tell every person go buy a house. You may not want that responsibility. You may love renting houses or renting condos because you do get that landlord that comes with it. That is the pro of not owning a home. And everybody doesn't want that commitment. Everybody doesn't want to worry about a mortgage. You know, they just want, maybe they just want a lease to go month to month in case they want to up and move. And that is the con to own a house, you know. But yeah, that is my video on house buying tips and pros and cons between subdivisions. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed the tips. And if you have any tips that I did not talk about, please leave them in the comments. And I will see you all next time.